All right, so today, let's do a deep dive into a place I've been wanting to go for a while now.
Sounds fun.
It's Budapest in 2025.
Oh, cool.
And and the best part is we're going to focus on how to do it on a budget.
Okay.
We've got a fantastic budget breakdown from the Chasing Whereabouts blog. It was published just last month.
Nice.
So that will be our guide as we go through this.
Okay. Yeah, Budapest is really interesting. It's
Yeah.
got this mix of history and culture nightlife,
hmm
but it doesn't have the price tag of like Paris or Vienna.
Yeah, that's what really caught my eye.
Yeah.
They actually compared Budapest prices to other Western European cities like Paris and Vienna, and they found that Budapest is like 30 to 50% lower.
Wow.
I mean, that's a huge difference.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering, what do you think are some of the factors that cause that big price difference?
Well, I think a few things are going on.
Okay.
The cost of living in Hungary is generally lower than like France or Austria,
Right.
and that affects everything from accommodation to food.
But also, Budapest is kind of a rising star in the tourism world.
Yeah.
So they're still trying to attract visitors with good prices.
Right, so they're being strategic about it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Well, as someone who loves to like really soak up the local culture
hmm
and try new things, but I don't want to spend a fortune.
Yeah.
This sounds like the perfect place.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Chasing Whereabouts actually breaks it down into 3 categories for daily spending.
Okay.
They have budget traveler, mid-range traveler,
Okay.
and luxury traveler.
Nice.
And it gives you a really good idea of what you can expect to spend.
Mm-hmm.
But even better, it shows you what kind of experiences you can have at each level.
How cool.
So you can really...
So like, what can I get for my money?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's start with accommodation.
Okay,
What are some of the options they highlight for budget travelers?
sure.
I'm all about getting the most bang for my buck.
Yeah, well, for budget travelers, hostels are amazing.
Okay. And Budapest has a ton of them, especially in District 7th,
Yeah.
which is known for its ruin bars.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of those.
Yeah. What are ruin bars?
They're basically bars that are built in these old abandoned buildings.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they're really cool and unique.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, and we're talking beds for like 10, 15 euro a night.
Wow, that's cheap.
Yeah,
Okay.
and some hostels even offer free dinners.
What?
Yeah, Chasing Whereabouts specifically mentioned Hostel 1 for that.
Free dinners? That's amazing.
Yeah, that's a great perk.
Wow. Okay, so what about options that aren't the traditional hostel experience?
Well, they also mentioned capsule hotels,
Oh, interesting.
which are really unique and affordable.
Okay.
Like High Five Hostel, they have these futuristic pods for just 18 euros a night,
Really?
and guests have access to a sauna.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it's like a little space pod
It is. It's pretty cool.
with a sauna. That's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, I haven't tried that before. That sounds fun.
Okay, what about people who like to be closer to nature?
Well, camping is another possibility.
Oh, nice.
Just outside the city, you can pitch a tent for like 12 euro at places like Camping Holler.
Okay, so if I'm feeling like I want a more like tranquil experience after a day of being in the city,
Exactly.
that would be perfect.
Exactly.
Okay, all right, so we've covered the budget-friendly end.
Mm-hmm.
What about mid-range options?
Right.
Like I'm thinking boutique hotels
Ah.
or like charming Airbnbs, that kind of thing.
Yeah, Budapest has a ton of those.
Nice.
Especially in trendy neighborhoods like the Jewish Quarter.
Cool.
For around 100 euro a night, you can find a place like the Hotel Parliament,
Okay.
which Chasing Whereabouts actually recommended.
Really?
Yeah, they said it has this cool Art Nouveau design
Oh, wow.
and a free breakfast.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, and I also love the idea of an Airbnb.
Oh, yeah.
So you can like cook some meals.
Yeah.
Did they mention any neighborhoods or specific types of Airbnbs that they thought were good?
Yeah, they specifically mention chic studios in the Jewish Quarter. You can find them for about 90 other euros a night.
Really?
And I think they like the idea of being able to immerse yourself in the local life
Yeah.
by staying in like a residential area.
I like that.
Yeah.
That appeals to me.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've covered budget and mid-range.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's indulge in a little fantasy here
Okay.
and talk about luxury stays.
All right.
What does Budapest have to offer travelers who want to like treat themselves?
Well, Budapest has some incredible luxury options.
Okay.
Like iconic hotels that you won't forget.
Ooh. I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Okay, well, for example, there's the Corinthia Budapest.
Okay.
It's a 5-star haven.
Nice.
It's got a thermal spa,
Wow.
and rooms start at like 250 euro per night.
Wow. Okay, that's definitely a splurge.
Yeah,
But it sounds incredible.
it does.
What else is there?
Or you could go for the Four Seasons Gresham Palace,
Okay.
where you can wake up to amazing views of the Danube.
That sounds incredible.
Yeah.
So it seems like they have options at every budget level.
Yes,
But even the budget options are focused on creating a really unique and memorable experience.
totally.
Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
I think Budapest really understands that travelers want more than just a place to sleep.
Right.
They want to feel connected to the city and
Yeah.
make memories.
Totally.
And I think that shows in their accommodation options.
Okay, cool. Well, now that we have a sense of where we might want to rest our heads,
Yeah.
let's talk about getting around this fascinating city.
Okay.
What's the transportation scene like in Budapest?
Well, Budapest has a really great transportation system.
Yeah, I've heard that it's like top-notch.
It is. It's very affordable and efficient.
Did Chasing Whereabouts have any insights on that?
Yeah, they talked about how easy it is to get around the city on public transportation
Okay.
and how cheap it is.
Okay.
A single metro ticket is only like 1.20 euro.
Wow.
But they recommend getting the 72-hour travel card for 15 euro. That gives you unlimited rides on buses, trams, and the metro.
So I can just hop on and off
Exactly.
and explore every corner of the city and not have to worry about the cost.
Yep.
That's a great deal.
Yeah, it is.
Wow. Okay, I'm sold.
It really encourages you to get out there and discover things.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Speaking of discovering things, I am really curious about those thermal baths.
Oh, yeah.
They look amazing.
They are.
Are they really affordable to experience?
They are. Chasing Whereabouts talked about the Székely baths,
Okay.
which is like one of the most famous ones in Budapest.
Cool.
It's only like 25 euro for a workday ticket with a locker.
Really?
Yeah, and you can spend hours there
Wow.
relaxing in the baths.
Wow, that's a steal.
It is.
I've been to spas in other cities where, like, you'd be lucky to get a foot massage for that price.
I know, right?
That's amazing. Okay.
Yeah, and if you want to do a lot of sightseeing,
Mm-hmm.
they recommend looking into the Budapest card.
Okay.
It's 60 euros for 72 hours. And it gives you free entry to places like the Lukács bath, plus discounts on other attractions.
So it's like a city pass?
It is.
Okay, I'm making a note of that.
Good idea.
What about other ways to get around?
Sure.
What do they say about taxis or ride sharing?
They actually recommend ride-sharing services like Bolt and Uber.
Okay.
They said it's more cost-effective than regular taxis.
Okay, how much is it?
It's about 0.00 per kilometer for Bolt or Uber,
Okay.
while regular taxis charge like 1.20.
Okay, so that is a considerable difference.
It is, especially if you're going further or out at night.
Right, right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it sounds like Budapest is pretty walkable, too.
It is.
Did they say anything about that?
Yeah, they highlighted that districts V6 and 7,
Okay.
which have a lot of the main attractions, are super walkable.
Nice.
They even suggested walking as a way to save money
Yeah.
and really experience the city.
Yeah, I love that tip.
Me too.
There's something about just wandering around
Yeah.
and getting lost in a city
Totally.
that leads to the best discoveries.
Absolutely.
Okay, but before we wander too far off course,
Yeah.
there's one thing we have to talk about.
Okay.
Food.
Yes.
I'm all about trying the local cuisine,
Mm-hmm.
and I've heard that Budapest is a foodie's paradise.
It is.
What are some of the highlights from the Chasing Whereabouts budget breakdown?
Okay, get ready to get hungry.
Okay.
They raved about the food,
Good.
how affordable it is.
Right.
For street food, they highly recommend Longos.
I've seen pictures of that.
Oh, yeah.
It looks like delicious, doughy, cheesy goodness.
It is. It's a deep-fried flatbread,
Okay.
and it's like a Hungarian staple.
Okay. And how much will that set me back?
Only about €3.
Oh, okay. That's definitely within my street food budget.
Good.
What else should I be on the lookout for?
Okay, well, they also mentioned chimney cakes.
Oh?
They're these sweet, spiral-shaped pastries that are cooked over an open fire,
Oh, wow.
and then they're coated in sugar and cinnamon.
I'm sold. Those sound amazing.
Yeah.
I love trying local desserts when I travel.
Yeah.
What else something more substantial for a meal?
You should try perkult.
Okay.
It's a traditional Hungarian stew.
Okay.
You can find it at most local restaurants.
Perfect for like a cozy evening meal.
Exactly.
Did they mention any good spots to find authentic Hungarian food
Mm-hmm.
without breaking the bank?
Yeah, they suggested the Great Market Hall for lunch.
Okay.
They said it's super authentic and cheap.
Okay.
You can find stuff like hortobagi pancakes there.
What are those?
They're like savory pancakes filled with meat.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
And you can get a meal there for about €6.
Yep. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
I love exploring local markets.
Yeah.
So that's going straight on my list.
Nice.
What about like sit-down meals at restaurants?
Oh, yeah.
What kind of prices are we looking at?
For a sit-down meal at a local place,
Mm-hmm.
you can find 2-course meals for 10, 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah, which is a great deal compared to other European cities.
That is really impressive.
Yeah.
So you can have like a nice dinner out
Mm-hmm.
without feeling like you're splurging.
Exactly.
I like that.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming they also have options for people who want a more high-end dining experience?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Did they mention anything about that?
Yeah, they said Budapest has a good number of Michelin-starred restaurants.
Okay.
If you want something fancy,
Okay.
those will be pricier, of course.
Yeah.
Probably upwards of €80 per person.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind for a special occasion.
Yeah, good idea.
What about drinks?
All right,
What's
go.
the typical price for a beer or a glass of wine?
Okay, get this.
Okay.
A draft beer will only cost you about €2,
Wow.
and you can get a glass of Hungarian wine for around €4.
Okay, now that's what I call budget friendly.
Right.
I can definitely get on board with those prices.
Yeah.
All right. So we've talked about accommodation, transportation, and food,
Mm-hmm.
all of which seem incredibly affordable in Budapest.
Mhm.
But I know that one thing that can really affect travel costs is the time of year you go.
That's true.
Did Chasing Whereabouts offer any insights on the best times to visit for people looking to save money?
They did.
Okay.
They gave a pretty clear breakdown.
Bye.
If you want the absolute lowest prices,
Okay.
the off-season is best,
Okay.
which is November to March.
Right.
Hotels can be up to 40% cheaper then,
Wow.
but it will be colder.
Right. Yeah.
But maybe that's worth it for some people.
Yeah. Bundle up, explore the city,
Yeah,
warm up with some goulash
exactly.
or a soak in those thermal baths.
Yes,
Yeah. Sounds cozy.
it does.
What about shoulder season?
Okay.
You know, I usually aim for that sweet spot between peak season and off season.
Yeah.
If I can.
Well, shoulder season is April to May
Okay.
and September to October.
Right.
And those are great times to visit.
Yeah.
You can often find discounts of about 20% then.
Nice.
And the weather's usually pretty good.
Okay. Yeah. That sounds like a good balance
Yeah.
of decent weather and potential savings.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
What about people who are determined to go in the summer?
Well, June to August is peak season.
Okay.
So expect the highest prices
Yeah.
and the biggest crowds.
Right.
Hotels often raise their prices by up to 30% then.
Wow. Okay.
But you get beautiful weather,
Yeah.
but you'll need to book in advance.
Got it. So
Yeah.
off season for the biggest savings,
Mm-hmm.
shoulder season for a good balance.
Yep.
And peak season if you're willing to pay a premium for that summer experience.
Exactly.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
Now let's say I'm on a really tight budget,
Okay.
regardless of when I go.
All right.
Did Chasing Whereabouts share any tips for making those travel dollars stretch further?
Oh, yeah. They had some good ones.
Good. Because I am always up for a good money-saving hack.
Okay. Well, one thing they emphasized was taking advantage of lunch specials
Okay.
at restaurants.
Yeah.
A lot of places offer 2-course meals for €8
Okay.
between noon and 2 p.m., which is way cheaper than dinner.
So strategic meal planning.
Exactly.
I like it. Okay.
Yeah.
What other tips stood out to you?
Well, they also suggested buying wine at supermarkets
Okay.
instead of restaurants.
Why?
You can find really good Hungarian wines
Okay.
for 5 tens a bottle at the supermarket,
Nice.
which is a much better deal than paying restaurant prices.
Yeah. Especially if you're staying for a while.
Right.
And you want to have some wine on hand
Exactly.
for like picnics or whatever.
Totally.
Okay. Good tip.
And one of the simplest but most effective tips,
Okay.
walk whenever possible.
Oh, yeah. Good one.
You'll save on transportation,
Yeah.
and you'll get to see the city at your own pace.
There's something so satisfying about exploring a city on foot.
I know.
You really get a feel for the different neighborhoods,
Mm-hmm.
and you stumble upon things that you wouldn't see otherwise.
You do.
Okay. So, to wrap things up,
Right.
it sounds like Budapest offers a ton of experiences for travelers on a budget.
Yeah, it does.
We talked about affordable accommodation,
Mm-hmm.
a great public transportation system,
Yep.
delicious food that won't break the bank,
Right.
and ways to make your money go even further.
Absolutely.
I'm feeling really inspired to
All right.
start planning a trip.
You should. It's a really cool city
Yeah.
that seems to care about making things accessible to all travelers.
Yeah, no matter their budget.
Exactly.
Well said.
Thank you.
Okay, before we sign off, I
Yeah.
have one final question for you.
Okay, shoot.
If you were going to Budapest,
Mm-hmm.
what would be your top priority?
Ooh, good question.
Would you splurge on a luxurious hotel
Okay.
with a spa,
Okay.
or would you allocate more of your budget to trying all the delicious food?
That's tough.
I know, right?
I think I would try to do a balance.
Okay.
Like maybe stay in a charming mid-range hotel that has some character.
Nice.
And then focus on trying all the local food
Yeah.
and exploring the history and culture. And of course, I'd have to hit up those thermal baths.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good plan.
Thanks.
It's all about finding that sweet spot
Mm-hmm.
that aligns with your interests.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Well, for anyone listening who's ready to start planning their own Budapest adventure,
Yeah.
I highly recommend checking out the full article on Chasing Whereabouts.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's got even more tips and inspiration.
For sure.
Cool. All right, well, until next time, fellow travelers,
Yeah.
keep exploring and keep those travel dreams alive.
Absolutely. So where do you want to go next?
I think I'm ready to talk about getting around
Okay.
this fascinating city. What's the transportation scene like?
Oh, Budapest is really great for that.
Yeah.
It's super affordable and efficient.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
From what I've read, their public transportation system is supposed to be really good.
It is.
Did Chasing Whereabouts have anything to say about that?
They did. Yeah. They actually emphasized how easy it is to use.
Okay.
Like you can navigate the whole city
Nice.
without any problems.
Cool.
And it's really budget friendly too.
Okay, let's hear about it.
Okay. So a single metro ticket is only 1.20 euros.
All right.
But they recommend getting the 72-hour travel card,
Okay.
which is only 15 euro.
Okay.
And that gives you unlimited rides on all the buses, trams, and the metro.
So basically, I can just hop on and off as much as I want and
Exactly.
explore different neighborhoods
Yeah,
without having to worry about how much it's going to cost.
exactly.
Okay, that sounds like a great deal.
It is, yeah.
Wow, okay. I'm sold.
It really encourages you to get out there and see everything.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Speaking of exploring and seeing everything,
Yeah.
I am so curious about those thermal baths.
Oh, yeah.
From the pictures I've seen, they look absolutely stunning.
They are incredible.
Okay.
They're like these huge, ornate bathhouses
Wow.
with all these different pools and saunas.
And is it actually affordable to go to one?
It is surprisingly.
Okay.
Yeah. Chasing Whereabouts mentioned the Siceni baths specifically,
Yeah.
which is one of the most famous ones.
Cool.
It's only 25 euro for a weekday ticket with a locker.
What?
Yeah.
Oh.
And you can spend hours there.
That's incredible. I've been to spas in other cities,
Yeah.
and you'd be lucky to get like a foot massage for that price.
I know, right?
It's crazy.
Okay.
It's a great deal. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And if I'm planning to do a lot of sightseeing, what about that Budapest card?
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
I feel like we touched on it a little bit before, but what is that?
Yeah. So it's 60 euro for 72 hours,
Okay.
and it gives you free entry to some attractions,
Okay.
like the Lucas.
Another thermal bath?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, cool.
And then you also get discounts on a bunch of other stuff.
So it's basically like a city pass.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, and if I'm planning to hit a lot of those attractions, it's probably worth it.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Okay, making a note.
Yeah. Good idea.
What about other ways to get around the city?
Sure.
Like, what do they say about taxis or ride-sharing services?
Yeah. Okay. Well, they actually recommend ride-sharing services like Bolt or Uber.
Okay.
They said it's much cheaper than regular taxis.
Oh, okay. How much are we talking?
It's about 0.50 per kilometer for Bolt or Uber,
Okay.
while regular taxis are like 1.2.
Okay, so that's a big difference, especially if you're going further or like out at night or something.
Exactly. Yeah, it can add up.
Right. Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
Sounds like Budapest is a really walkable city as well.
It is, yeah.
Did Chasing Whereabouts say anything about that?
They did, yeah. They said that a lot of the main attractions are in districts V, 6, and 7,
Okay.
and those are all really walkable.
Nice.
They actually suggested walking as much as possible,
Yeah.
both to save money and to really experience the city.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, me too.
There's something so great about just like wandering around and finding hidden gems.
Totally.
Yeah, okay.
You really get a feel for the neighborhoods that way.
For sure. Okay, well, before we wander too far off topic,
Yeah.
we need to talk about food. I am all about experiencing the local cuisine when I travel.
Yeah, me too.
And I've heard that Budapest is amazing for foodies.
It is.
Okay, so what were some of the highlights from Chasing Whereabouts' budget breakdown?
Okay, get ready to get hungry.
Okay, I'm ready.
They were raving about the food in Budapest
Good.
and how affordable it is.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay, for street food, they highly recommend trying longos.
Okay, I've seen pictures of that.
Oh, have you?
It looks amazing.
It's so good.
All that like doughy, cheesy goodness.
Yes, exactly.
What is it exactly?
It's basically a deep-fried flatbread
Okay.
that they top with all sorts of delicious things.
Right, and how much is that going to set me back?
Only like €3 to €5.
Okay, that's definitely within my street food budget.
Perfect.
What else did they say I should try?
Okay, well, they also mentioned chimney cakes.
Chimney cakes, what are those?
They're these sweet spiral-shaped pastries
Okay.
that they cook over an open fire,
Oh, wow.
and then they coat them in cinnamon and sugar.
Okay, I am sold.
They're delicious.
They sound incredible, and I love trying local desserts when I travel.
Me too.
Okay, so what about something more substantial
All right.
for a meal?
I should try percolt.
Percolt.
Yeah, it's like a traditional Hungarian stew.
Okay.
You can find it at most restaurants.
Nice. Perfect for like a cozy evening meal.
Exactly.
Did they mention any specific places to go for authentic Hungarian food?
They did, yeah. They said the Great Market Hall is great for lunch.
Okay.
They said it's super authentic and really cheap.
Cool.
You can find things like hortobagi pancakes there.
Okay, what are those?
They're these savory pancakes filled with meat.
Interesting. Okay. I've never had that before.
Yeah, they're really good.
And you can get a whole meal there for like
Yeah.
€6.
Yeah, around there.
That's a great deal.
Okay.
And I love exploring local markets when I travel.
Yeah, it's a fun experience.
So that's definitely going on the list.
Nice.
Okay, what about if you want to have a sit-down meal at a restaurant, what kind of prices are we looking at?
Well, they said you can find 2-course meals at local places for like 10 to 15 euro.
Okay, that's impressive. That's cheaper than a lot of other European cities.
It is. Yeah, it's a great deal.
Wow, so you can have like a really nice dinner out without feeling like you're splurging.
Exactly.
I love that.
Yeah, it's great.
I'm assuming they also have higher-end dining experiences for people who want that as well.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Did Chasing Whereabouts mention anything about that?
Did. Yeah, they said there are quite a few Michelin-starred restaurants.
Oh, wow, fancy.
Yeah, if you're looking for something really special.
Okay, cool.
Of course, those are more expensive.
Yeah.
Probably like upwards of €80 per person.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'll keep that in mind maybe for a special occasion or something.
Yeah, good idea.
Okay, what about drinks?
Okay.
What's the typical price for a beer or glass of wine?
Okay, so get this.
Okay.
A draft beer is only about €2.
Wow.
And you can get a glass of Hungarian wine for around €4.
Now that's what I call budget friendly. Okay, those prices I can get on board with.
Yeah, they're really good.
All right, so we've talked about accommodation, transportation, and food,
Yeah.
all of which seem super affordable.
Yes.
But I know that one thing that can really affect your travel costs is the time of year you go.
Oh, for sure.
Did Chasing Whereabouts talk about the best times to visit for people who want to save money?
They did, yeah. They did, yeah. They gave like a really clear breakdown of it.
Okay, cool. I know that seasonality can make a big difference
Yeah, for sure.
in pricing. So I'm just curious to hear what Chasing Whereabouts had to say.
Well, if you want like the absolute lowest prices,
Okay.
the off-season is your best bet,
Okay.
which is November to March.
Okay.
Hotels can be up to 40% cheaper
Wow.
during those months.
Okay.
Of course, you're going to have to deal with colder weather then.
Yeah.
But for some people, that might be a good trade-off.
Yeah, I could see that being appealing. Like, bundle up, explore the city,
Right.
then warm up with a nice bowl of goulash or a soak in the thermal baths.
Yeah, exactly.
Sounds cozy.
Yeah.
What about shoulder season?
All right. Well, shoulder season is April to May
Okay.
and September to October. And those are both really great times to visit.
Okay.
You can often find discounts of around 20% then.
Nice.
And the weather's usually pretty good.
Yeah, that sounds like a really good balance of decent weather and some potential savings.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Definitely.
What about people who are just determined to go during the summer months?
Well, June to August is peak season.
Right, yeah.
So that's when you're going to see the highest prices.
Okay.
And the biggest crowds.
Yeah. Makes
And
sense.
hotels often increase their prices by up to 30%.
Wow. Okay.
But you get the nice weather.
Right. Yeah.
But you definitely need to book well in advance.
Got it. So off season for the biggest savings.
Yep.
Shoulder season for a balance.
Mhm.
And peak season if you're willing to pay a premium for that summer experience.
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Now let's say I'm on a really tight budget.
Okay.
Regardless of when I go,
All right.
did Chasing Whereabouts share any tips for stretching those travel dollars even further?
Yeah, they had some great tips.
Okay, good. Because I'm always up for a good money-saving hack.
Okay, well, one thing they emphasized
Yeah.
was taking advantage of lunch specials
Okay.
at restaurants.
I
Because
see.
a lot of places offer like 2-course meals
All right.
for 8 to 12
Okay.
between like noon and 2 p.m.,
Okay.
which is way cheaper than dinner.
So just strategic meal planning.
Exactly.
I like it.
Yeah.
What other tips stood out to you?
They also suggested buying wine at supermarkets
Okay.
instead of restaurants.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, because you can find some really great Hungarian wines for like 5 to 10 euro a bottle at the supermarket, which
Right.
is a much better deal than what you would pay at a restaurant.
Yeah. Especially if you're staying for a while and you just kind of want to have some on hand
Exactly.
for picnics or relaxing in your Airbnb or whatever.
Totally.
Okay. Good tip.
Yeah. And one of the simplest but most effective tips
Let's hear it.
is to just walk whenever possible.
Oh, yeah, of course.
You'll save on transportation costs,
Yeah.
and you get to experience the city at your own pace.
There's something so satisfying about exploring a city on foot.
Totally.
You really get a feel for all of the different neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And like you were saying before, you stumble upon those hidden gems that you wouldn't find otherwise.
You do.
So it sounds like Budapest offers like a wealth of experiences for travelers on a budget.
Yeah, it really does.
We talked about the affordable accommodation,
Mm-hmm.
a fantastic public transportation system,
Right.
delicious food that won't break the bank,
Yeah.
and all those little ways that you can stretch those travel dollars even further.
Absolutely.
I'm feeling incredibly inspired to start planning a trip.
You should. It's an amazing city.
It really does sound like it.
And it's just so accessible to any traveler.
Yeah, no matter their budget.
Exactly.
Well said.
Thanks.
Before we sign off, I have one final question for you.
Okay.
If you were planning a trip to Budapest,
Hmm?
what would be your top priority? Would you splurge on a luxurious hotel with a spa?
Okay.
Or would you allocate more of your budget towards trying all the amazing food?
That is a tough one.
I know, right?
I think I would try to aim for a balance.
Okay.
Maybe like a charming mid-range hotel
Okay.
with some character.
Yeah.
And then focus on indulging in the local cuisine
Yeah.
and exploring the history and culture.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I would have to try out those thermal baths.
Oh, of course. Who could resist?
Yeah.
That sounds like a fantastic plan.
Eggs.
It's all about finding that sweet spot
Yeah,
that aligns with your interests and your priorities.
exactly.
Well, for anyone listening who's ready to start planning their own Budapest adventure,
Yes.
definitely go check out that full article from Chasing Whereabouts.
Oh, yeah. It's packed with even more great information.
Perfect. All right. Well, until next time, fellow travelers,
Yeah.
keep exploring and keep those travel dreams alive.
Absolutely.